Welcome back to Pat Psychology Masters. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about disgust. A smelly fart. A mouldy apple. Rotting flesh. A cut oozing pus. All of these things elicit various levels of disgust, which is our natural reaction to things that might put us at risk of infection. Disgust, that ancient part of our disease-avoidance psychology, has also been implicated in our sense of morality, but I'm going to gloss over this implication in today's episode. Instead, I'm going to focus on the role that disgust could play as a roadblock to what my 3-year-old niece calls that pesky virus, COVID-19. In last week's episode, linked above my head, I discussed how the coronavirus may actually manipulate our behaviour to make us more social. I got a brilliant response to that episode, and shout out to Juliana who commented inspiring me to make today's episode. Now thankfully, although viral infection may alter our behaviour, we can also alter our behaviour before the virus gets the chance to infect us. So this is where today's discussion of disgust comes in. Physical distancing between people has been the most effective public health measure in combating the COVID-19 virus. However, this has been an extremely difficult thing to motivate the public to do. People love their families, their friends, their neighbours. Some people even love their colleagues. But in all seriousness, we are social creatures who thrive on person-to-person interactions, much less so on person-to-smartphone-to-person interactions. Debra Liberman, one of the world's leading experts on disgust, advises that public health initiatives could hijack this ancient emotion to motivate people to stay away from the less obvious forms of infection that coronavirus presents, like asymptomatic carriers. These are people that don't have runny noses, they don't smell bad, they aren't pale, they're not coughing, but they are carrying a virus that could seriously damage your health and the health of your loved ones. In terms of public health messaging, Debra suggests that officials might do things like share graphic images of people who are obviously sick with COVID-19. Perhaps an image of an unfortunate ICU patient who requires a ventilator, for instance. Additionally, Debra suggests promoting images that clearly show pathogens on common surfaces. Maybe an image that highlights the presence of potentially infectious droplets, respiratory droplets on a surface. These suggestions could help activate our disgust system, further motivating the public's adherence to things like social distancing and surface disinfection. In terms of future research to conduct, Debra advises comparing the efficacy of disgust eliciting messaging versus non-disgust eliciting messaging on public health behaviours, such as hand washing, wearing masks, social distancing, surface cleaning. For instance, an experiment might analyse effectiveness of 2 separate messages. The first message might simply stress the importance of wearing masks to prevent potentially infectious particles leaving your mouth, and similarly prevent infectious particles entering your mouth. The second message might use graphic images depicting respiratory droplets as maybe like black paint in order to demonstrate the amount of respiratory droplets that would appear on the outside of your mask after a close contact with another person, and indeed the amount of respiratory droplets that your mask prevents you from leaving your mouth. Imagine if our spit was black paint, how disgusting the inside of our masks would look after such a short usage. Be rotten. This is something that could be used in like a public health advertising campaign. Now that was my disgust eliciting idea. What's yours? How would you elicit disgust if you were making a public health advertisement against COVID-19? And also, what downsides might there be to having a disgust-focused public message? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to see what you think. Now, to take a deeper dive into Debra Liberman's research, I'd highly recommend you click on the perspective paper in the link in the description below. She has a great section in this paper, and I think you'll really enjoy it. As always, hit thumbs up if you liked this episode, hit thumbs down if you didn't, subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon to see next week's episode. The reason I asked you to make all these little interactions is because they really help me grow my channel, and perhaps more importantly, seeing your feedback inspires me to invest more time and indeed money into making future episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you here again next week.